Okay, we get l'amendement. Now, miigwech.
Yes, it's been a very interesting couple of days. And I hope it's the same for all you people that in the future will have to make certain decisions regarding these land claims. When I think about our band council today, it's almost overwhelming how much that needs to be done. Right now we're dealing with the past, basically. Past injustices. We call them past injustices, but those injustices are still going on today. We're almost where we are at in 1836 and 1862. We tried to negotiate our rights back then, assert our rights, the very same ones that we're negotiating today. So unfortunately, in the past 150 years, we haven't made very much progress. Unfortunately, it's none of our fault. Mama, but the government. It's always looking ways and means to suppress our interests, our rights. I'll give you a prime example is this residential school situation. They're hanging on and delaying that settlement, delaying for most of those people that could have benefited from it passed on before they received those benefits that were acknowledged that were owed to them. Hopefully, this generation today will be able to see justice being accomplished, whereas those islands are finally asserted to be ours. I don't even know why we have to go into these negotiations, basically, like from a historical standpoint. Because we've always known that those islands and the government knows it. They know it. Yet, they want us to prove ownership. When I wrote to Buchanan back in 1975 or 76, I asked him to prove that those islands weren't ours. That's the last of the correspondence with the Minister of Indian Affairs. He couldn't answer that. So, when we're dealing with the past, we also have to deal with the future and the present. Maybe 20 years down the road, the same type of negotiations will be gotten into by future band councillors, future chiefs, because of what's happening today. I promised Hazel I was going to write a summary of my main concerns, and they've been concerns of mine for the past 40 years. And a lot of my ideas about the law were confirmed today by Mr. O'Neill, who I like to consult because he is an expert at these things. Once this past is settled, past injustice is settled, there's another one that's going to crop up. It all deals with our land, our reserve. Right now, technically, a large part of that reserve is no longer unceded. And I'll tell you why. That's why we have to be very careful when we're dealing with this darn government. Back in the mid-60s, there was an agency represented by the name of Vern Robinson, who came in here and pushed the issuance of certificates of possession. He made it sound to the council that these certificates of possession were protection of land on the Indian Reserve, on our unceded reserve. That's not true. As part of the grand government scheme of getting rid of our Indian lands, especially our unceded land, a certificate of possession is a deed. It gives you ownership, it gives you title to that land as an individual. So I'm going to explain in this submission I'm going to present with Hazel to pass on to the band council, and I hope you take it with serious thought. See, when we had certificates of occupation, they gave you proof that you occupied a certain piece of land. You were just as legal as a COP, only under our law, Indian law. Once those COPs were established, it created an estate where there were no estates before these certificates of occupation were discontinued. certificate of occupation retains communal ownership of land. It only says you occupy a certain piece of it. A COP says you own that land. The absolute fact is a lot of our young people are losing track of history, what the unceded reserve is all about, why it's there, why it was not ceded by our ancestors. Someday, somebody, through a court of law, will fight a law case in court where they can use their land as collateral for a bank loan or whatever, mortgage. And the dangerous part of it is we're all in a recession right now. When you go for a bank loan or a mortgage of any kind, you know what that bank does? They sell that mortgage to a company that specializes in buying up loans. So a bank loan is not actually a bank loan in the long run. It belongs to a group of individuals like a conglomerate. There's nothing that's going to stop that conglomerate. If somebody fails to pay off their loan for after they put up their property as collateral, to come in and take over that land and sell it to whoever has the price to buy it. That's where we're at right now. So history seems to work in waves, one injustice after another. And I'm telling you right now, right today, even if you don't want to believe me now, you will later on when it's too late. A COP is a dangerous document. Keep that in mind. In fact, I'm going to propose to the chief in this letter that all those certificates of occupation be destroyed, and certificates of possession be rescinded, and certificates of occupation be issued. So our children, our grandchildren won't have to go through the same thing that we're going through today, claiming possession of our own land. And if that's not done, it's going to happen. Just mark my words. I don't know why, but when I was born, I was gifted with certain perceptions, which I've used to my benefit or other people's benefit over the years, like even medicine. I didn't learn that from a book. I learned that from the elders that were medicine people in our community. And the history part, I learned that right from the elders. I didn't read it from a white man's version of history. I always use the analogy when five people witness a car accident. You get 5 different versions of that accident from 5 different people. So in this case, the court has finally recognized that oral history has a validity. There's a lot of credence to it. And that's what we have to use in this day and age yet. So let's protect our children, our grandchildren, and generations beyond and get rid of the COPs.
Ronnie. Okay, so I'm just going to give the microphone to Henry. I'll say some closing remarks, but and then after that, not so much closing remarks, but after Henry, then to Roland to ask us if anything, if you need any other direction as far as the negotiator for Wikwemkoong.
Jimmy Witch, Chief. Now, me Witrap, and members from the other, really thankful to see quite a few people the last 2 days. Day and a half. And I've been listening all along, and it gives me a great pleasure to know how interested people are about these islands, and that we are working towards getting them back to Indian status again. That's great. And then, daming with I did not get a bispama with a negotiator to more or less expedite this whole discussion. You know, we've been dealing with it about 5 years now, maybe a little more. You know, when I compare the two treaties, not the treaties, but the land claims, that Wiky dealt Point Rondine. That started shortly after 1970. A bunch of us, got in the new council at the time. But a few of us, we were new. And then one of the things, that was talked about is to straighten out the land dispute, that the Point Rondine people had on their reserve, because everybody was aware, there was an amalgamation that had taken place in 1968. And that was 2 years, previous to 1970. So, we knew exactly what happened. But then we began talking about the island claim issue. The island claim, and then the East Oingsra, and then we can deal with the Manitoulin Island itself, the lands that we lost, because of the 1862. So we ended up just having a boundary line where it is now, Manitoulin, just over here, a little ways here. So the discussions, that began, they've been pretty slow. In fact, we haven't met both levels of government since early part of last November, because of the federal government had lost a negotiator. It was moved to some other department. So we've been waiting all this time. But anyway, we haven't dropped anything. We keep on talking about our next move. But a meeting like this session, the last day and a half now, is very beneficial. That's the purpose of bringing all the membership, as many as we can, to deal with the issue. Committee. Ben members the membership in Wiky. Not can them with the mall with the big kid on the band members once the discussions take place again. And I'll try to go probably sometime in April, maybe early April. The discussions. Ben members Ecuador Kiva. So Pashuli Nangan Nawi when a Bisson don't go on the academic. Yanak Jiradik. And we didn't get an edition no any. We sent to Ignan. It's an Adam Swirly. We didn't get him. But not guess woman to go. I mean, بدأت توصيل ونقول بمعنى الشجاع كده نقول جرى وقت درنا مجاني شو نعطيه كويك ديانا من أغلب بوتش نبي شو الساق مني وما بويت كويش كده عتين منا ويبغى شوية بدأ يبتش.
Okay, I guess at this point then, Roland, I'll give the microphone to you, and I just want to give you an opportunity as the lead negotiator for Wikwemkoong. If you have any questions, or do you want to wait till we? But I think if anything, knowing that there's been a lot of direction here and guidance, but I just want to give you that opportunity before I close.
Big Wetch, Chief. Just want to say it's been a great honor for myself to be involved in this process. Something I trained myself for many years, and I don't see any other options for what I can do, but maybe try to write a book or something. But anyways, it's been really good to have this session because it has been a little bit uncomfortable over the first couple of years of negotiation, that we didn't have a clear mechanism, for community involvement, let alone the council direction. But at least we're getting that clarified now, so that's very, very good and very encouraging. And actually, it's revitalizing to, I think, the whole team. We're ready to go forward with renewed energy and a good feeling that at least our leadership is involved, and we're going to move this forward. And I look forward to more community involvement and more information for the community. And we just need to ensure that we have the mechanisms to keep that going, and to bring the community input in and provide the information they need. I just wanted to note that these last couple papers that I handed out, these are just the documents that we're using to identify some of the documents we want to use in the negotiation. Obviously, these are histories written by non-natives, actually aimed at this land claim discussions by the government, but they identify documents. What we need is to get our own people beginning to put in writing our history from our perspective. There's a lot of documents they can use, the oral history, and a lot of other information that our own people can use. We just need to make it available, because we do have a lot of information, but we need to promote people's interest in doing it. It's kind of hard for us to do it when we're working. So I think there are young people that are interested in doing this kind of stuff, and we need to encourage them to do it. And it's not just one book we need. I mean, there can be many different materials produced for all sorts of uses, including some of our traditional activities, which they're losing knowledge of as well. I think we need to get people recording and those kinds of skills. Like, I don't know who still could make Mackinac boats, but that was one of our people's main modes of transportation. I know from the old stories, people used to go from Green Bay, Wisconsin, to the island, back and forth. And that was all our traditional territory, and we had a way of traversing that, maybe more efficient than today. But in any case, I don't have a lot of questions, because I think we've provided a framework for ongoing direction, and it's a great feeling. So I can only thank you and express my great honor in being involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Rolly. I want just to acknowledge again Chief Al Wiky, Chief Henry Pelche, and Hardy Pelche, and Chief Eugene Manitowoc, because it's initially yesterday, our first day in this session, you have taken us back to our roots, which is our history, in order for our community to properly grow together. And I so appreciate that very much, because even sitting in the Chief's office today, again, that you have so much more to provide to our community when it comes to growth and development. So I just want to give this to you.
And what they are is their necklaces or ties for you to wear when we look at Turtle Island. For all Anishinaabe, that you are protectors for us, and I'll make this to you then.
Wiky.
Then we'll make sure Chief Eugene Manitowoc receives his.
Okay, so in closing, as your chief of Wikwemkoong today, is that this certainly has been, for me, I guess, reinforcement that when it comes to the efforts we need to do collectively to reinstill or again reinforce the pride and the dignity that our people rightfully deserve. And when we go through this process, this learning process or this revitalization of who we are, we'll begin to appreciate again that Anishinaabe have a sacred place in society when we look at when we consider all of mankind. And when we get this true sense of what it is, then we are going to empower not only our people within Wikwemkoong, but all Anishinaabe in this worldview and using the medicine wheel. Because we are people of vision and spirituality. And when we've been given them, we understand that responsibility that the Creator has given us, and is to take not only our lands but earth. So there's again even a broader perspective in this, what we're actually talking about today. So with all of that, I say to each and every one of you that have sat with us these past 2 days and Saturday being the weekend, and then I only look forward to the community members at home that will be watching this footage, and that you begin to become more involved, because again we're going to have all kinds of opportunities for you to be involved. One of the things when this new term started for Chief and Council, we did say we're going to report back to the community as a council on a quarterly basis. To do that is on March 21st, again the change of the season. So I'm looking at March 24th, where we are having a regular band council meeting on March 23rd, but March 24th is when I'm hoping we could at least report this session to the community and bring, at that time have a work plan as far as all the other steps that we need to work on. So if anything, then I say Chimigwach to each and every one of you, and God bless. And
Folks, I'd like to give a good hand to our chief for grabbing this by the horns, you know. Chief, you are very good.
Photos of all our, well, most of the islands. I didn't have time to put the little ones in there, but we do have some pictures on almost every island. So not a lot of people get to go out there and see it firsthand or see it from the air. So this is a good opportunity for people to just to get a feel for what's actually out there. I was going to make it more technical and give you guys a lot of numbers and stuff, but we'll just let the pictures do its work. I'll do my best to try and guide them. I didn't take all the pictures, but I'm pretty familiar with what's going on here. So my format that I had here, it's going to be the same format. So you can pay attention to the left map here. This will indicate which area we're actually looking at. That'll change. And I tried getting a satellite image. That'll be always stuck on the right side there. So right now we're in the Big Bird. I call it the Big Bird clusters because this is all the islands just off our shore, the Prairie Point. Let's get going. So these are just some still shots of what it looks like from the water. Somebody's hand. So these are the flyby pictures that were done in the winter. This is looking down on Anthony. There's a cabin right here and a dock. Okay, this is Perry Point. Fishing Island right here. This is the mainland, Rabbit Island. Who's Roland looking at us? Some more winter pictures. Right here you can see a good view of all the clusters. That's all the clusters all in here. Lots of small islands. I'm going to try and just breeze through it a little bit faster. That's, wow, what's that? Whiskey. There's Whiskey Harbor Road coming straight across. Okay, this is moving on to Haywood. There's this location way up there. Satellite image. This is one of the nicest islands that we have, I would say. This is where most of our pictures are going to be that were taken. It's it's real beautiful in there. Let's let it roll there. Okay, that's on this shore right here. There's rolling in. This is just looking out from the top. It's pretty high right here. That's where I was standing. And there we are in a boat going in. Okay, there's that sign everybody talks about. No trespassing sign. This water is really nice and green. Looks beautiful when you get in there. One thing you notice when you're inside, it's nice and calm in there. A lot of boats. There's a lot of people that go and anchor their boats and just anchor their sailboats and just go boating around on a small boat. It's like a little resort there without going on the mainland. There's actually a survey done. They assigned lots all the way around this Haywood Island. But they couldn't go through with it because it's under a claim. See, notice all the little boats, all the sailboats. Very popular spot.
And there used to be a totem pole in there on that channel. One of your totem poles, was in there? Or did somebody put it in there?
Probably.
My phone's already aware.
Back in the sticks there.
Okay. Here's some winter shots of Haywood. This is looking down. This is Wiky right there. Haywood, Wiky. That's how it looks when it's all frozen in. Now this is getting a better shot of the smaller islands. Brown is one of them. Try to speed this up a little bit more. I did it like this so we could just play in the background if anybody wants to look at it. Or I might as well walk through it faster. Nice island.
There are some archaeological pits on the extreme west end of it, in a bay there. There's a terrace in a little ways in the bush with all these big pits in a row. We don't know what they were for.
Okay, moving on to Creek Island. It's kind of near Haywood, just off the mainland here. They call it Hole in the Wall. Oh, is that right? Okay, so that's how it looks on the entrance. Well, depending on which way you go in. There it is. There is the mainland. This is actually the way it looks when you're in there. As you notice, water is very still. There's no wind. It's very warm, very peaceful, as opposed to getting out here and the waves really kick in. It's really nice there. Okay, here's Partridge, Center Island, and Harris. They're all together. It's not too bright, but this is Harris, Center, Partridge. I don't really show it too clear. Okay, this is Partridge. And then I was trying to see, there's cabins. You can't really see too clear, maybe on the main screen. But there's a nice big sized cabin right there. And there's Harris, two of them. There's cabins on there. Okay, Badgley is the out shape of it. Everybody knows where Badgley is, right there. It's the construction work that's going on. There you can see the actual dirt.
That's just quarry, right?
Yeah, it's quarry. When we were driving by there, we actually heard an explosion, seen a poof of smoke up in the air. It's kind of neat. It was getting all dug up.
Actually, from the air, you can see the big hole there. It's deeper than the lake. The hole in the ground. In the silica quarry.
Okay, there's Ojai Island. It's still referenced as Squaw. Will be changed in the future. And then there's, what is it called? Ojai Island Bank. That's what it's called now. Located right there in the middle. Here's some shots from the boys in the lands department.
Sam, this here is, what was that?
Yep, right here.
Does it look like a woman, eh? Like it's like she's carrying a baby there.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
whatever. It's amazing.
There's a whole boat found on there.
Yeah, one of these structures has a shoulder blade inside. That's the one that's on.
Yeah.
There's a survey monument there. Used for triangulation. Ground control point. This is just looking out into the water. There's that monument. Not too sure what these are, just bush. Probably something. Wild plants. There's a nest. It's a pretty big nest.
The old mess.
Yeah. Okay, there's a boat wreck. Under the water. When I went there, we couldn't find it. So hopefully they GPS it this time. There's the boat under the water. And this is the way it looks winter time. Down to Lonely Island. Pretty wavy getting out there. satellite image. Now this is just off the shore, still in the boat, looking at the clay cliffs. So that's Wiky there. That's the clay cliffs. Cape Smith. Yeah, we had to climb up there. That's like climbing up a wall up to the lighthouse. Roland made it. Took a spill on the way down though. Yeah, it's really nice up there too. Great view. These are all the paths that were made. They led to one structure to another. These are just foundations left behind. This is where we docked, and we almost lost our boat then. We almost got stuck on Rolling Island. Boats started taking off, and just Roland was in there.
Let's pick up the guys around the island.
Yeah, we were all walking around. So this is the view from the lighthouse, looking towards Wiky. There's the clay cliffs. Great view. Got a cell service up there, but I wasn't able to call anywhere. There it is, wintertime. More winter shots from above. And this is the hydro line going in. This is where you have to climb that big wall. Okay, Club Island. I believe this is the last island that I did. I